All right, a Brooklyn grand jury has voted to dismiss all charges. This is against Jordan Williams. The 20-year-old was charged with manslaughter for fatally stabbing a 36-year-old man who witnesses say was verbally and physically assaulting passengers on the J train in Brooklyn, including Williams' girlfriend. That grand jury determined Williams acted in self-defense.
And he was here and he told us about what happened that day on the train. Joining us right now, his attorney, Jason Goldman. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York. The last time you were here, you were with Jordan. And yesterday was a big day for you.
Yeah. You
had Jordan testify before the grand jury.
Yes.
And in the same day, you got an answer from the grand jury?
Yes.
So walk us through that.
I mean, he was the last piece of the puzzle, which is kind of the natural progression of things, not always. And I know that they had heard all the evidence and heard all the witnesses prior to Jordan going in, and he was really the last piece. And I've been confident with him from day one, so it was really a no-brainer. And obviously the grand jury found him to be just as believable as everybody else had been.
What do you think swayed the grand jury? Was there a piece of evidence? Because I heard there were videos that we have not seen.
Look, there's a video, there's pictures, there's text messages, and above all else, there's 5 or 6 witnesses, and then my client, who all told the same story. And when you get that, there's no longer facts in dispute. When there's facts in dispute, cases go to trial, and they're closer calls. But when people called into my office and they told me the same exact thing, I started to feel more confident, and I think the grand jury saw that, and they said everyone's telling the same exact story about what took place on the train.
You spoke to one witness in particular yesterday who called you after all was said and done. She had videotape. Tell us a little bit about her and what she said to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, the grand jury is a secret proceeding, and a lot of witnesses didn't necessarily want to volunteer themselves to come forward, but I thanked her obviously for being there and for taking a video, and it's a chance encounter, and I still think we would have gotten the same result, but that's the only video in circulation, and it helped the jury, I think, visualize what exactly took place on the train, obviously. And she said that there was a reason that she was on it. She thinks that she was put there for a greater reason, and it's crazy how it works out.
So she's from Atlanta, just moved here?
She's from out of state, and she moved here recently.
Welcome to New York, huh?
Exactly.
Did you tell her that?
Exactly, yes.
I have a question, though. Curious, though. How did that footage, it's in circulation with people involved in this case, but it hasn't hit mainstream media yet. How do they do that in terms of, like, not letting that hit the public airways, which I'm assuming will come out soon?
Look, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's not my position, obviously. But obviously there's sources sometimes in NYPD or otherwise. The Daniel Penny case, I think the video came out like instantaneously. So each case is different, and that's just what happens. But obviously the important players have their hands on it. The grand jury saw it, and that's what matters.
Last time you were here, you were with your client, and unfortunately you said that he was let go from his job. I think it was UPS or FedEx.
Yeah.
And he was trying to look for a job that day.
Yeah.
What's the update on that?
He's still looking. He has a great head on his shoulders. He has a very, very, very bright future. When I called him yesterday, he was relieved and grateful, and he said he was still processing it. Yeah. And he, it wasn't necessarily a joyous occasion, right? People told me congratulations, and it doesn't feel like a victory, right? There's a life that's been lost. There's another family that's hurting, and we don't want this to happen at all. He's not jumping up and down. He's not a hero. He didn't want to be in this position.
But moving forward, are you kind of worried about the stigma around surrounding what the incident, even though the charges are dropped? Is that going to be difficult for him to get a job?
No, I mean, I think that he'll move on. I think a lot of employers will see this for what it is. I mean, this was a quick dismissal.
Yeah.
I don't think in the long run it's going to be a holdup for him. It's a 3-week turnaround. He's as not guilty as can be, so I think he'll be okay.
Jordan Williams was on with you the last time, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
And he talked about his experience riding the subway. We have a little part of that interview.
Living in the city, I always found it to be sort of liberating in a way. I mean, I don't feel the same constraints that everyone else feels. I mean, there's definitely things going on that you always have to be aware about. But like I was saying before, I just try to stay optimistic about things, and I don't really try to dwell on the negative or focus my energy on it. But yes, I was always aware that there were things going on and that I needed to keep my head up.
So he's trying to focus on the positive. Is he getting help right now? Because, He was in a very traumatic experience.
Yeah, he's surrounded by loved ones. His family's great, as I said, from day one. And he's young and he's impressionable, and I think that he'll heal in the correct way. Again, this all just happened so fast. This arrest was 3 weeks ago. It rarely happens as fast. This is usually months or years. So he's just processing. I think he's taking things slow. He's incredibly mature for his age, and again, I think he's going to seek out the help that he needs when he needs it, and you know, he's surrounded by important people right now.
So everybody's making the comparison between Jordan and Daniel Penny, and Daniel Penny, as you know, is still facing charges right now. Grand jury indicted him. What do you think was the difference?
Yeah, I mean, look, Daniel Penny's case is going to go to a trial, and a lot of facts are going to come out, facts that none of us know about yet. I think the biggest difference is how quick this interaction was, perhaps compared to the other one. I think Penny's situation might have spanned 3 to 5 to 10 minutes, and this was, you know, although the deceased in this case was harassing people for that long, the interaction with my client was 30 seconds at most, and it was a split-second reactive self-defense situation. And I think you might see something different come out with Penny, perhaps with kind of how long that he was interacting with Jordan Neely for, and then obviously, you know, his Navy military background and using his hands. And people say, my client had a weapon, he didn't have a weapon. Well, you know, is it fair to say that Daniel Penny didn't have a weapon when he's trained by the military and perhaps he was putting someone in a chokehold for 5 minutes, which again, I don't know if that's fully the case, but to me, that's perhaps more violent than one stab wound that takes place in 5 seconds.
Let me ask you, though, about the knife, because I did ask your client that when he was here, and he said he had this crazy incident on the subway. We have a clip of that. I don't know if we can play it, but if we don't, it's fine. Have you talked to him about what's he going to do moving forward? Because I know he's avoiding the subway right now, but he can't avoid it forever.
Yeah. I haven't. You know, I'm sure that he doesn't want to be in this situation. And, you know, it's interesting. The grand jury found, you know, their version of not guilty, even as it pertained to the weapon, which is interesting because that doesn't necessarily always apply to self-defense, possessing a weapon, a firearm, or a knife. And that speaks volumes. And we spoke about this a little bit last week about people having pepper spray or mace or knives. And they actually didn't vote to indict him or charge him on possessing the weapon itself. Okay. So, again, we're not encouraging or inciting, and I don't want this to be an example for people to think they can go out there and carry anything that they shouldn't and use it in a way that they shouldn't, but that speaks to the temperature of people in New York City, which I've been saying from day one, to show this grand jury they probably could have, you know, come back with a different result as it pertained to the knife, and they didn't. Yeah. They didn't charge him on that.
Jason Goldman, thank you so much for coming on Good Day New York and kind of walking us through what happened in the last few days. Yeah. If people are looking for you, they need a good lawyer. Where can they find you, Jason?
Jason Goldman, Jason Goldman Law. I have a firm on Madison Avenue, and you know, I take pride in defending all these people. I have cases similar to Jordan's. I have someone up in the Bronx, which is a self-defense case, and he's remanded. He's not given bail, so he's not going to get his day in court for 2 years. 19-year-old kid. Same exact case.
And same exact case?
Same exact case.
On the subway?
It was outside. He was being robbed by a few people violently, and there's no bail in that case. He's sitting on Rikers Island. I'm going to win that case as well, and he's not going to be tried for 2 years. His mental health is deteriorating, and that's just one in so many, and that's what makes it so sad. So if
that's in the Bronx? Don't they let everybody go in the Bronx?
No, they don't. You think so?
I thought that they didn't have a great record in the Bronx.
No, I mean, look, homicides and other cases, this is what they do. They hold people in. I said it from day one when Jordan was released by that judge. It was an incredible victory. Probably the only individual ever charged with a homicide that was released without any bail. And you see the result. Because if he was put in Rikers Island, we might not have gotten you know, this dismissed within 3 weeks. It would have been not only a headache, but bad for his mental health. And he'd probably still be there. And this would be a longer-term fight with him inside on a case where he was innocent from day one, similar to, you know, some other individuals, obviously.
Jason Goldman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Good luck with your other clients.
Thank you.
Okay.